This is the Swipe Smart Podcast. Join 80s babies Heather and Adam as they give perspective and share stories to help you navigate modern dating after 35. Welcome to Swipe Smart.
Welcome back to another episode of Swipe Smart. This is a Swipe Smart Quickie. Woo-hoo. I feel like there's gonna be a jingle pretty soon.
We need to make a separate jingle because remember, these Thursday episodes are quick hitters. This is the Swipe Smart Podcast where we are helping you navigate the dating world, telling funny stories, trying to give encouragement and let you know that you are not alone. One thing that I always want to let you know about is Heather's masterclass. Give us the deets, as the link is always in the show notes.
Yeah, so go to 30pause.com and you can become a part of the 30pause community and the Swipe Smart community by joining and registering for the Swipe Smart Masterclass. I am going to be opening registration up again in February, so be sure to tune in and click on all of our socials and subscribe because you always get updates on when you can start registering, and I'll be holding another Swipe Smart Love Hard Masterclass, so I'm super stoked about that.
Boom. So Thursday, quick hitter. What is the topic for today that we're going to dive into?
Today, to date in the workplace or to not date in the workplace? That is the answer.
Okay, so can I start with a funny story?
Go ahead and spill it.
So I was was I serving or hosting at Applebee's? That's how young I was.
Okay.
Because you can't serve if you're not old enough. And I just turned 21. So maybe I was serving at this point. So I was serving at Applebee's, as one does when they're freaking 21.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an older caller.
A gentleman caller?
Yeah, right. That was the vibe.
Okay.
I'm glad you picked up on that. No, so she was probably, man, I gotta really think. I suppose she had a good 8 years on me because she had to be pushing 30 if I was 21 at least. And she was incredibly beautiful, but what made her beautiful is she was one of those ladies that was always smiling, always willing to do extra side work, always willing to pick up a shift, like, oh yeah, I got you, and just so fun to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved working shifts with her. Well, I ran into her at the local bar one Saturday, and she had a lot to drink. And we were standing in line, and I truly don't remember because this was over 21 years ago, I am sad to say. And I don't remember how, but we kissed in line, waiting to get into the club.
Okay.
I got to be honest, I would never lie to you.
Blacked out.
No, I just don't remember how we got there.
I know, blacked out.
I don't know how the conversation went, like, something.
Listen,
like, I wonder if you're a good kisser.
You don't have to have alcohol in your system to be like, what happened? I just blacked out.
Okay.
I mean, I've been blacking out for a minute, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I don't know. I blacked out.
I'm just saying I simply don't remember how it happened.
It's okay.
But I will admit that she was way more drunk than I was. I'm not saying I took advantage of the situation. I'm truly not thinking that. But I remember that I was at least sober. I was just very attracted to her. So what do you think happens? That next Monday, then I'm like, hey, like, hi. And she's like, hey. And I'm like, oh, sinking feeling. Like, do you not remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, can I ask you something? Do you remember what happened on Saturday? And she was like, oh, God, what? And my heart sank.
Okay.
Because now I'm like, she really did forget.
Okay.
I'm like, well, we kissed. And she was pleasantly surprised in a good way. She's like, oh my gosh, we did? Was I any good? Totally different than what I thought she was going to say.
Okay.
I thought she was going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And she took me by the hand and we went back to where the paper towels and napkins are kept in the back storage room. And she kissed me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, let me retrack my memory.
Yeah. And it was
let's try this again.
It was the most incredible thing that has ever happened to me in about 21 years.
Oh my
God. I could not believe it. And that's my dating in the workplace story.
That's the only dating in the workplace experience you've
highly
had.
would recommend. Well, it's not it's not the only, but that was my most fun. I had some other situs that did not sit well.
Yeah.
And it was because I chose to eat where what
and shit where you eat.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I did, and it didn't go well. And
yeah.
overall would not recommend.
Well, I don't really have the best experiences when it comes to dating in the workplace. They are obviously all didn't work out because I am still single. So
obviously.
So yeah, but I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about the situation, and you have to go through it to get through it. And so that's exactly what happened. This is obviously this was definitely in my 20s. I, turned 20, I think 6 or 7 or so. Broke up with my boyfriend. We lived with each other. It was, nice and dramatic and toxic. So,
Sure.
I was just going from one relationship, to another. Also, the fact that, like, have a completely empty apartment. So when he moved out, it was completely gone. All that was left was just, like, my hygiene products, my clothes. Like, I had absolutely nothing. So when I started dating this guy from work, I asked about this other rendezvous that he was having with this other woman that I thought was happening. So I was like, can we clarify that? Like, you not, da-da-da. And he's like, no, we're done, da-da-da-da. Lies, Manelli. But, you have to kind of go through it. There was a lot of great things that he was able to offer me and give to me. And, at a very vulnerable time in my life of, like, trying to just, like, in that relationship and that dramatic breakup and process that while still trying to transition and think, okay, where am I going to live? And he allowed me to, like, live with him for a couple of months and, like, figure it out. And that was really sweet. And that was really nice,
Wow.
too. I think there were some selfish reasons on his end, too, in regards to that. But at the same time, that's not how I big picture wise, how I look at it. And then, just having, like, that break off, but then, having little rendezvous with other people in the office, not other people, one other person in particular, and how that kind of got, like, muddy. So, it was just all, like, those were just lessons I had to learn in my late 20s that, it's really best not to shit where you eat. But I have known a lot of people who have met their spouses at work and who are like, yeah, I can't, I've known so many people, and I personally know so many people who are, met their spouse at work, who are still together. And that is a really big, like, way of other people to meet other people. So it's how well are you going into it, knowing, like, do we want people to know? Are we allowed to fraternize? Are we not? Are we, are you a higher up or am I a higher up?
Right.
There's that hierarchy.
Are they your subordinate?
Right. Are they the boss?
Yeah.
Are they your subordinate? It's like, it can all get very messy, and it's just, like, drama filled. It can be very much drama filled, and very toxic. So, I don't know. I'm open to it, but I work with a bunch of women now, so that's just not my bag.
Well, the big thing for me, I would say.
So, yeah, just discretion, but also moving through it with maturity, I'm sure is, like, a balance too, because there are, like I said, there's people who are very successful and they're, finding the, their love and their spouse at work.
It's crazy. Communication for me is big. If you sense that they like you or whatever, you're going on breaks just with them or whatever, you're asking them to hang out outside of work, then that first interaction has to be, hey, are you feeling this the way that I am? And if so, if things don't work out the way that we hope to, can we look at what that means? Like, I'm in this position, you're in that position.
Mm-hmm.
How often do we really see each other?
Right.
Is that going to be affected? Are you a boss of some sort where you're telling me what to do? And then what does that look like? Now, here's the problem with that. That's not romantic. That's not sexy. That's not fun.
Strategy.
That's not anything
like,
that I want to be doing.
Stressful.
I'd rather be kissing your neck than asking you, well, if this doesn't work out, are you going to still tell me what to do? Come on. I'd rather...
that's where it's like, that's where I'm like, okay, it could be a colleague, but when it gets to that subordinate boss manager situation, you're really, really kind of asking for it.
Yeah, that's way
and
too
that
tough.
is always a situation and things that I have witnessed, and I am a firm believer in learning through other people's mistakes as well, and things that I have just seen in my experiences in my professional life and workplace. So when it's always that subordinate manager boss kind of position, vice versa, whether he is or she is or doesn't matter, it always usually gets pretty messy. And not only are you like ending up heartbroken, but now you got to find another job.
Right.
Like on top of that, which is probably best,
or if you're in a situation where they have to find one.
Or
how
exactly.
How good does that make you feel?
Oh my God. Like, no, I really try to eliminate all possibilities of drama in my life, especially now in 30 pods, and like here I am, like 37 years old. I'm like, I have life is stressful enough. I don't want to create more of it. I think we're kind of a creator of our own problems.
Yeah,
too.
Save the drama for your mama.
Mm-hmm. Like Fergie said, she said, "Save the drama for your mama. I don't want to take your man." Right?
I want to take your job.
And I don't want to take a job.
Yeah.
Right.
So tread lightly.
Tread lightly. Be careful. Make sure you're just you have that discernment. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think discernment is key. Communication, like you're saying.
Yeah. If you are in a office romance, make sure you let us know. We would love to hear some solid, good war stories, not just the bad ones.
Yeah, I want good ones.
So swipesmartpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you're in one, or if there are things that you see that can be positive if you do, XYZ. If there's something that you have seen done that really worked out.
Give me a workplace romance love story success.
Yeah, I would love to
That's
read
what I want to hear, because Adam and I, not so much.
Yeah, definitely. All my situations, at least we're not with subordinates or anything like that. We're on the same level, but it still didn't really go well. And with that first one,
also, it's like your work. You got to separate the two and maybe have a little more of a life. But that doesn't always work out like that. So be sure to just keep communicating with us and give us your thoughts, and then we'll update you on more of the Swipe Smart Quickie episodes, and then we'll just dive right into more good things.
Great things. So every Thursday and Monday, you can look forward to more episodes. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you follow us on YouTube, which personally for me is the most fun to watch us. You can also watch us on Spotify as well. Be sure to follow the show notes, and thank you to our sponsors, the 30 Paws Podcast and Jess Trains. Remember, you can get 10% off of Jess Trains, as she has helped me lose a bunch of weight. I look amazing now. So thank you to Jess. Again, follow the show notes for all of our links, all the things that we're working on, and we will see you